Hi, my name is Daniel Potts. I want to talk to you this morning about Uncooking the Books, the story of Cynthia Cooper's Whistleblowing at WorldCom. I'm going to discuss it in context of the IMA's statement of ethical professional practice, and in terms of Joseph Badaracco's essay, We Don't Need Another Hero, and discuss whether or not her actions follow the steps set forth in those standards. First, a very short background. We all know Cynthia Cooper's story. She and her team of auditors uncovered a massive fraud at WorldCom, $3.8 billion when all was said and done. When they first discovered a $400 million questionable accounting issue, she took it to the outside auditors, Arthur Anderson. Anderson told her that they took orders from her boss, CFO Scott Sullivan, and she shouldn't worry about it. Everything was okay. They brushed her off. She was not really happy with that, and she told her team to go dig. Now, as Sullivan was her direct supervisor, it kind of put her in a sticky situation. He told her to back off. She didn't really want to go behind his back, but she had no choice. He told her to let Anderson handle it and let it go. She and her team didn't want to do that, though. She figured something was kind of fishy here. They had to work in secret. They didn't tell their bosses what they were doing. They kept everything on the down low. Ultimately, doing that, they uncovered a monumental fraud. WorldCom was cooking their books to the tune of over $3.8 billion, as I mentioned. What they were doing is, rather than expensing their line costs, which is a business expense, should come right out of the income statement, they were basically transferring those costs to the balance sheet. They were capitalizing those costs, making them look like capital expenditures. It was keeping hundreds of millions of dollars off the bottom line, making WorldCom look much more profitable than it was. This is a massive fraud. Ultimately, after several months of stress and wondering what was going to happen to the company and to coworkers and their pensions, being put off by her bosses, being told by Sullivan to put her audit off until the end of the third quarter, which she refused to do, many other things. Cynthia and her team actually took her findings to the audit committee of the board of directors. It's a very abbreviated background. I left a lot of stuff out, but I wanted to lay the groundwork for discussing her actions in terms of the IMA's resolution of ethical conduct and Joseph Badaracco's We Don't Need Another Hero. First, the IMA's resolution of ethical conduct. The IMA states that if you're unable to resolve your ethical conflict using your company's established procedures, you should talk to your immediate supervisor, unless it appears that he or she may be involved. In that case, go to the next level of management. Now, if your immediate supervisor is a CEO or equivalent, and there is no other level of management to go to, then taking it to the audit committee or a similar organization is the correct step. In this case, Cynthia's immediate supervisor was Scott Sullivan, who was a CFO. There was no other level of management to go to. So her decision to go to the audit committee was the correct decision. In terms of Joseph Badaracco's We Don't Need Another Hero, Cynthia Cooper is kind of the perfect example of a quiet leader. Badaracco's steps are: number one, put it off until tomorrow. Don't ride into battle on your white horse. Don't make a huge deal out of something that's going to blow up in your face and actually get shut down. Take your time, do your homework, establish your evidence. Cynthia and her team did exactly this. They were worried they might be fired if they presented their unethical suspicions before they were 100% correct. So they did their homework, they kept digging. They immediately jumped on the white horse and rode into battle. They likely would have ended right there. The fraud never would have been uncovered. The second step is pick your battles. It doesn't really apply to Cynthia Cooper's case. she didn't really pick and choose which unethical accounting to follow. However, she did pick her battles in terms of her discussions with Sullivan, not telling his supervisors everything that they were doing, and putting off the audit. Not really what Badaracco was talking about, but it kind of fits. Third step is don't bend the rules. Or bend the rules, don't break them. Excuse me. Bend the rules, don't break them. Again, this doesn't really apply except perhaps Cynthia and her team bent the rules at WorldCom in terms of they didn't tell the supervisors what they were doing. They worked in secret. Again, not really what Badaracco was talking about, but it fits a little bit. His fourth step is to find a compromise. Again, this doesn't really fit. Cynthia and her team weren't willing to compromise on any of the strange accounting they had found. Not really what Badaracco was talking about, and I don't really find a compromise in what Cynthia Cooper did. However, her decision to wait until tomorrow, gather evidence, helped uncover one of the largest frauds in history. I think Cynthia Cooper is pretty much the perfect example of right answer. Thanks.